the founder of Bees and the D, Brian Peterson, who joins us now once again on the MegaCast. Brian, thanks for coming back.
Hey, Tyler, always great to be with you.
Appreciate having you on. How are things going with your organization at this time?
We are as busy as a bee, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it seems very busy. Of course, we recently had on Aaron Filipski. He's the Director of Recreation and Public Services at the City of Royal Oak, and he had great things to say about your honeybees that are at the Normandy Oaks Park in Royal Oak. Want to talk a little bit more, just for those that didn't see that interview with Aaron, about how your bees ended up in that park?
Yeah, so a lot of people may not know, but we partner up with businesses, parks, schools, you name it, to help promote the conservation and education of our pollinators, specifically honeybees with our organization, but we do talk about a lot of the native bees as well. And the Royal Oak Parks reached out to us, and oh my gosh, it couldn't have a better setting. For the first year having hives there, the bees are flourishing. If you haven't been to that park, it is just remarkable. So another great partnership. That's what we love about Bees and the D, all these Detroit taking care of Detroit efforts.
We're joined by Brian Peterson. He's the founder of Bees and the D with us today on the MegaCast. And you talk about community partners and talk about partnership. Right now, Bees and the D in need of some additional partnership as you're competing in the Rock Family of Companies Community Challenge. And just to review what that's about, this is a quote from the challenge itself. Quote, "It's a friendly fundraising campaign launched by the Rock family of companies where organizations compete to raise the most money, with the top teams winning grand prize cash donations of up to $25,000 in closed quote." So what is this competition that you're in? What are you competing in against other organizations, and what do you need from supporters out in the community?
Well, we are very thankful that the Rock family does this. We've been doing it for the last few years, and this year is so crucial because with COVID, we haven't been able to do a lot of our fundraisers, our live BBQ and our auction. And so this year has been really important, and the fact that they do that is fantastic, but the description is perfect. It is such a fun competition. We get to meet a lot of other nonprofit organizations that are trying to make a difference as well. And what it is, it's just an online campaign where people can donate, but the challenge part that kind of comes in, which is fun, is they do a lot of little mini challenges. They've already done 2, and like last week was whoever has the most unique donors, and this week is, for this week, whoever raises the most money can get a bonus prize. But ultimately, yes, the grand prize is a large $25,000 for the organization that raises the most funds. So we're putting our name out there. It is a little harder as a smaller nonprofit to compete with some of the bigger ones, but our supporters have always come through and have been so generous to help us continue our mission. So we're very excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, 153 just from their search function under their donate button on their website, rockcommunitychallenge.com. That's rockcommunitychallenge.com, where you can donate to Bees and the D and other organizations through this challenge. So far, it looks like from their website, they've already raised just under $400,000, $392,711 raised from 2,964 donors. And if you want, again, rockcommunitychallenge.com, you click on donate, it'll bring you to another page where you can search for Bees in the D and explore the other organizations as well if you'd like to make a donation. Otherwise, also going on with Bees in the D, you have some other events coming up, including Blake's Sunflower Festival on September 4th through 6th. What can people expect when they go to this particular community event?
Well, we love being a part of Blake's festivals. We were a part of the Lavender Festival earlier this summer. It was great to see people out and about again. And so we have a booth set up there where you can purchase our fun little t-shirts. You can get, of course, raw honey. We make our own lip balms and a lot of other products. We also at our booth have a observation hive where you can get face to face with a couple thousand of our dear friends in that hive. And it's just fun to talk with people, helping to educate, especially this time of year, right around Labor Day, when the yellow jackets, which are a wasp, are out in force, and they are definitely at the cider mills. And a lot of people make the mistake that those are bees. And so I just did a presentation earlier today here in Plymouth. This is our bee classroom that we have here. And I was sharing with the kids, like, have you ever been blamed for something that you didn't do? And of course, they have stories. Well, that's kind of the life of a honeybee, because we constantly are saying these bees are so bad, especially towards the fall, but those aren't bees at all. They're actually a species of wasp known as a yellow jacket. The bees are out enjoying the flowers and getting the nectar from the flowers. So it's a big misconception that we like to try to educate both young and old alike. But we'd love for you to come out and see us there. It's a very fun event.
And there's a really interesting video on that misidentification that you have on your organization's website, beesinthedee.com. Just scroll down about halfway down that page, you'll see a video. You'll see Brian holding up a piece of paper that literally says the case of misidentification. You can learn more about that, and as well as explore other videos from Bees in the D at beesinthedee.com. And so, Brian, in terms of education efforts, of course, you're talking about the misidentification education effort that's going on right now. What other efforts is your organization putting out there in the community to inform people about bees? Because they continue, especially at this time of the year where they're out and about, and because it's warm and because of the flowers being out in bloom and so on and so forth. What other education efforts are being put forth by your organization to help people develop a better relationship with the bees in their community?
Well, as a fifth grade teacher, that's my main job. Teaching runs through my blood, and I have found that one of our biggest avenues is actually social media through Facebook and Instagram. So I like to do a lot of short videos because I find that a lot of people click and then they want to keep clicking. And so I try to do 1-minute videos or less that kind of share about some of the misconceptions like you talked about, going into the hives. I do a Forager Friday every Friday where I talk about a plant that grows in Michigan and how it relates with our pollinators. But we also do some workshops. I just did an all-day workshop educating people how to become beekeepers at the Outdoor Adventure Center, where we have 4 hives right on the DeQuinder Cut. And then I've done some hive tours. It's fun to be back in action and be able to do some face-to-face events again this year. But yeah, like you said, our webpage is just packed full of so many infographics and videos. And I even created Bees in the D Junior during the COVID year for parents to go to. There are lessons that include crafts and storytelling and lessons about bees and many different aspects of bees, like the waggle dance, like honey, which can be done from home. So we're trying our best to, educate, even though we're hopefully coming out of a difficult time, but that's one of our main pillars of our mission. So I want to make sure that I'm being true to that.
People have had a lot of time to explore their lives over the course of the pandemic while they've been stuck at home, while they've been getting progressively more and more bored just doing the same thing day in and day out and wanting to get back out in their community and do something different and pick up new hobbies. Have you found that with this reopening that's been going on over the past several months and continues on slowly but surely over time as we go forward, that you're having more people in the community be interested in participating with your organization, or at least learning more about bees and beekeeping and so on?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to back up a little bit too and say that silver lining here, a lot more people became connected with nature during the pandemic because they could go out to the parks. They could learn more about the natural world. So that was a real silver lining. But you are so right, Tyler. All of a sudden, people are eager to be a part of events. So we have noticed an uptick of people interested and being a part of our organization. Our volunteer page, which is on Facebook, is now almost upwards to 300 people. Wow. And we have a lot of people that are joining us for our honey harvest. We do signups on that volunteer page. And it's just like we have the Whitney dinner. We have 2 hives at the Whitney restaurant in Detroit, and we have the dinner where Chef Natasha's going to come back, and all the dishes are inspired by honey, using the honey from the hives there at the Whitney. And already the ticket sales far outpass what we've sold last year. And there's still tickets available. We just keep adding tables and chairs. It's going to be out on the patio, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you have a lot of, my apologies, a lot of interesting locations for these hives all throughout Metro Detroit and in the city, including, as you said, at the Whitney, but also at the top of the TCF Center. They have a green roof over there as well. Are you finding that more places in various areas in Metro Detroit and in the state of Michigan are wanting to put in these hives as they're learning more about the true impact that bees have in our communities?
Definitely. And it's not just that they're learning about that, but they're also realizing that honeybees are very docile creatures. Yeah. There's those misconceptions again. And when they see that the hives, the bees are doing what they need to do, yeah, we're up to 63 partners now across 5 counties, which is unbelievable. And I loved your guest just before I came on, that more and more restaurants are starting to go more local. And we actually work with a lot of restaurants now using our honey in their menus and even putting hives at their location. For example, at the Shinola Hotel, we have 4 hives, and the honey is used for the restaurant downstairs, the Foundation Hotel. And yeah, like you said, we're on the TCF Center on their beautiful green roof. It is just, we're a small nonprofit of 5 years. This is our 5th year, and the growth has been amazing, which is a testimony to people realizing the importance of our pollinators to our ecosystem, for our food industry, also for the food chain.
Yeah, it helps support the restoration of our local industries. It helps support restoration of our local environments and restoration of our communities as well. I mean, there's a great article on your website on beesandD.com/news where there's an article from Out Here magazine about forgotten spaces becoming new homes for honeybees, because we're seeing these abandoned lots not only in the city but in other areas as well, and places that maybe used to have businesses but for years were empty, that are being torn down. There's nothing there and nobody knows what they can put in there, and here they are putting in beehives that are not only having a benefit for the community, providing honey to people and organizations all throughout Metro Detroit, but also raising awareness for the productive work that bees do. But it's also helping to provide purpose to places in our community that maybe have been less desirable or have been looked down on for years, and gives people something to focus in on that's positive.
Yeah, the green space in Detroit is amazing, and Detroit is really becoming a leader in urban agriculture and farming, and now in urban beekeeping, because it goes hand in hand. And actually, studies have been done across the nation, actually the world, and we get to kind of see it firsthand because we have bees in rural areas, suburban area, and in urban areas. And actually, beehives, honeybees, do better in urban areas across the nation because there's more diversity of plants, even though you would think that it would be more the rural areas, but we've created such mono societies in those rural areas that diversity that really helps our bees flourish it's a testimony to how well they're doing in the city, which models us as well. We need a diversity of food, and that's where our pollinators are so important, because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have that diversity of food. And that's part of our mission. We've got to keep our pollinators strong. We've got to keep their populations healthy so that we can enjoy all these wonderful foods.
We're joined by Brian Peterson, founder of Bees in the D, with us today on the MegaCast. And not all these bees have these special hives that are being put in on vacant lots or in people's backyards or in parks and whatever. And so, but they need somewhere to be productive, and so they maybe will take and set up shop on someone's gutters or by their front door in the shade, or so on and so forth. And they're doing productive work there. They're minding their own business, but they're in our space as well. For people that are encountering a beehive at their home, on their property, and are maybe concerned about that, what should they do to create a situation that's, of course, most opportune for themselves and their families, but also doesn't harm or disrupt the work that's being done by these bees that, like you said, are otherwise docile if they're not being interfered with?
Well, Tyler, I'm so glad you bring that up, because I get 12 to 20 calls or emails a day, especially this time of year, and 90% of those are not bees at all. They are actually wasps, because wasps will take up homes and actually build paper-type nests up in the corners. honeybees actually need a larger cavity. Now, there are times that honeybees could get behind siding or in an empty cavity of a garage wall. Those are referred to as cutouts. And there are beekeepers, we don't personally do it, we just remove swarms, but I have numbers of people that can come out and do those cutouts to help move those bees to a more desirable location and a safer location in a hive where they can be managed and checked for health. But we have some educational things if you go to beesandthedee.com/bees that actually show you the different nests of bees and the different looks of the bees and wasps so that you can help identify which ones they are. And really at this time of year especially, most of them are wasps. Which are important to our ecosystem as well. They're just not those power pollinators like our bees are.
You can find more information on Bees in the D on the website, beesandthedee.com, as well as on Twitter, twitter.com/beesinthed or @beesinthed. I need to go back to the website and watch that video about the misconceptions, because here I am asking about those hives. They're wasps in most of these cases. They're not the bees. And so we can all learn something about the bees in our community so that we're helpful to them and they continue to be helpful to our communities as well. Brian Peterson, the founder of Bees in the D, with us on the MegaCast. Before we let you go, Brian, just another minute or so, anything else that would be interesting or important for our audience to know, or anything else you'd like to say today?
Well, I can't sign off without sharing some very exciting news. We had a 10-year goal of building one of the first pollinator education centers in the nation, and we are 5 years ahead of schedule. Wow. We just purchased land from the Land Bank of Detroit, and we are going to be putting an education center and botanic gardens in core city of Detroit. We're upcycling shipping containers. And you can see that design through Studio Detroit that has been so gracious and generous with us, that helped design this on our website right on the main page if you just scroll down a little bit. And so we started the fundraising for that, and excited to have some very generous people that believe in our mission and understand what we're trying to do that are helping us out. So very excited about that and can't wait to get it built so that we can have people on site educate more about our pollinators, about our gardens, rain gardens, of how we can build and work together with nature, especially after this year of rain with all the runoff water. So we're very excited about that project.
Yeah, it's great news to hear. We've talked to you about this, the potential for this acquisition from the Detroit Land Bank several times before. And so good news that you have received that property and you will be putting this project forward. Congratulations, and thank you, Brian.
Thank you. It's happening.
It is. Thanks for being with us today.
I appreciate it. Have a great one.
You as well. We appreciate having you on. Brian Peterson, founder of Bees in the D. Learn more information at beesinthed.com. And of course, you can go to rockcommunitychallenge.com to donate to Bees in the D for their challenge, an opportunity for them to win upwards of $25,000 and additional cash prizes that help them do great work in our community, as well as other local nonprofit organizations that could also use your help.